Pneumonia kills more children worldwide than any other disease. The World Health Organization stated that in 2015, over 920,000 children died of pneumonia, and over half of these deaths were caused because families cooked inside. So every day, at least 2,500 children die from this preventable disease. Do not let your child be named among those children. Lungs are very important for living. When you take a breath in, the air goes into your lungs and gives your body oxygen. Your lungs are specially designed to get the oxygen from the air into your blood. The blood then takes oxygen to your whole body. All the way from your mouth to your lungs, you have airways that the air travels through to deliver the oxygen deep inside your lungs. Breathing in smoke injures the small hairs in the airways. When this happens, the hairs are not able to sweep out all the dust and chemicals that are in the smoke. These chemicals can cause damage to your lungs. When this happens, germs are able to get deep inside your lungs and cause pneumonia.
My name is Nabanja Fiona.
When we first met Mama Lydia, she always cooked in her house with her 5 daughters around her. One of her child, who was also a baby, was badly affected by the fact that the mother was cooking inside the house. We found the baby very sick. The baby could not breastfeed, and the baby had had a few fits. We rushed the child to hospital, only to find that the child had pneumonia.
When this happens, the lungs fill with fluid or pus, which makes breathing difficult. It makes it hard for your body to get oxygen. When you breathe in smoke, you breathe in lots of chemicals that damage the lungs.
From that, mother was encouraged to build a cooking shelter outside the house. She did, and her family since then has enjoyed a healthy life, and she has enjoyed using the shelter, and we have consistently found her making full use of the shelter to cook both her breakfast, lunch, and even her supper.
Here are the 3 ways you can keep your child healthy and pneumonia-free. Cook outdoors. This is the most important change you can make to keep your entire family healthy for longer. Take your child for immunization, as they protect your children against deadly diseases such as pneumonia, tuberculosis, and whooping cough. Breastfeed your children for as long as you can, and when they are older, give them good nutrition to keep their bodies strong. If your children show symptoms of pneumonia, do not go to a pharmacy, but see a doctor right away. Pneumonia is a deadly disease, so you must get the right treatment as soon as possible.
I want a stop shelter so that as I'm a VHT and I'm a leader, I want also to open my 4 mamas or my 4 people in the community so that I can educate them about the dangers of cooking in the house.
My name is Amwalakela Andrew. So today I'm going to be helping Mama Henry to build a cooking shelter so that she can stop cooking inside the house to prevent pneumonia.
The type of stove shelter I want to build is the removable one. Why? Because I have a small space, because of my space I have, and sometimes that one, the removable one, I can carry it inside so that thieves cannot steal it. Because when I leave it outside, they can take it.
To construct a stove shelter, you will need the following supplies: wooden poles, an iron sheet, standard nails for assembling the wooden frame, mushroom head roofing nails for attaching the iron sheets, a hammer, a machete, materials such as a string for taking measurements, and charcoal or a pen to make markings. First, You will need to identify the space where the stove shelter will be used and the type of shelter that will best meet your needs. For this design, Mama Henry will need 2 poles at 83 centimeters, 2 poles at 80 centimeters, 3 poles at 56 centimeters, and 6 poles at 65 centimeters. Cut the poles with a saw or panga. Measure out each piece and mark with charcoal. Then chop with a panga. Next, Mama Henry and Andrew build the frame of the shelter. Use standard nails to fasten wooden pieces together. Begin by attaching the top frame to the legs. Then repeat for the other side. 2 nails should be used at each joint, pointing at different angles. This will increase the stability of the shelter. Then join the 2 sides together. These nails should be twice as long as the width of your wooden poles. Attach the supporting poles to the sides. Measure the roof. Use the string method as we did for the wooden poles. You will want the roof to be a bit larger than the frame, so it can hang over to protect the shelter from the rain. Cut the roof. It is best to cut in the opposite direction of ridges of the iron sheet, making sure the rain can flow down the roof in the right direction. Carefully use the hammer to pierce the iron with the panga to cut it into the proper shape. Attach the roof. Use mushroom head roofing nails to securely attach the roof to the top of the shelter. The edges of the iron sheet are very sharp. To avoid cutting or injury, bend down the corners and hammer down the edges. From the remaining iron sheet, measure and cut small sections to attach to the sides for additional privacy and protection from wind and rain. Attach iron sheet to 2 or 3 sides of the shelter. Leave enough space between the sides and the roof for smoke to escape. But make sure it is not too much space to prevent rainwater from dripping inside your shelter. Flammable materials such as papyrus, wood, rice sacks, or plastic should not be used for the roof or sides of the shelter. These could easily create a fire. Elevate the stove on bricks or stones to protect the stove from rain and flooding. Ensure that the stove is positioned on a flat surface. Your shelter is now ready to start cooking. This design selected by Mama Henry ensures that people can still fit through the space as they walk past, and the shelter is narrow enough to fit through her door frame when she brings it inside. She has designed her shelter to be slightly slanted so that rainwater will run off one side of the shelter and not onto her as she prepares the food. A difference of 2 to 5 centimeters between the front and back of the shelter will accomplish this purpose. Many families prefer a mobile shelter, which can be moved indoors at night due to small space outside and to protect the shelter from theft and water damage. If you decide to build an immobile shelter, choose an area where the ground is elevated to protect your shelter and stove from water damage in the case of rain or flooding. With both types of shelters, choose an area which will be out of the way of children and foot traffic. This will help protect your shelter from damage and also protect children from burns and injury. There are a few key differences between the shelter built by Mama Henry and the immobile shelter design. Immobile shelters should be anchored and supported by the ground. For this reason, they may use less supporting wood pieces. Dig holes in the ground with the panga. Sharpen the ends of the legs with a panga. Apply motor oil to the base of each leg. This protects the pole from insects, water damage, and rot. Insert each pole in the ground and fill in soil around it. Attach the top frame to the legs of the shelter. Attach the roof. Different outdoor spaces call for different shelter designs. Some of the benefits of shelters include protecting children from burns, protection from rain. Sides of shelter protect charcoal and allow it to burn more efficiently so that families consume less. Shelters allow families to cook outside even when it's raining.
I think that it will make a difference in my life because when I'm no longer cooking in the house, it will help me. It will reduce on the diseases like pneumonia.
The children can't get burnt, and even the house is cool. It can be cool, the house, and even those smokes can't get on the walls or on the clothes in the house. If a mom is sensitized about the challenges she gets when she's cooking inside, then she might get to know that I have to make sure to see the ways how I can prepare food outside by putting them shelters.